Okay guys, I just got a few errands done this morning. I wanted to stop over and do a couple things. So I'm getting ready to go into work. And I want to talk about ethics. Ethics in business. How do we approach this subject, okay? So this was my last class, and then we have a bunch of practice stuff to do. So ethics. Does ethics belong in business? Does it? I mean, you really got to define what ethics is nowadays, guys. I had a situation years ago that I had shared where somebody accused me of stealing M&Ms. The M&Ms were in containers for everyone to take, and it wasn't a big deal, right? It's not a big deal. It's no big deal. There's M&Ms in a container for everybody. That is the perspective that most people, I think, would have culturally. So technically, what is the definition of stealing? Knowingly taking something that doesn't belong to you, basically, right? But if somebody is offering candy, M&Ms, then why would you not take it, right? So what happened in this job, and a lot of you probably know from following me what had happened, because I shared this before, but I want to get into this some more. So what had happened was, it was not a situation I could de-escalate. It wasn't. Somebody came up to me, one of the HRs confronted me, said, hey, not just confront, but accused me pretty badly, said, hey, we caught you on camera, come over here, or something. I was in the kitchen. We caught you on camera stealing M&Ms. And I'm like, what? Just trying to process what this person was saying, right? And if this person would have given me a second to digest this, I would have been like, oh, well, it wasn't done with malice or anything, or I didn't know, or, sorry about that, whatever. But instead, this person came at me. They literally came at me and would not stop. So they're like, if you went in the store, would you go in there and take a soda and walk out of the store with it? And I'm like, of course not. So two different things, right? Two different scenarios. To compare apples and bananas, totally different. And then this person went on and on and on. They wouldn't stop. So, in the end, they said, okay, we should have had a policy or whatever. You know what? I don't even think you need a policy. I think it's just common sense, to be like, M&Ms are out there and people are going to help themselves as meant to be. And then I was told, oh, and then you took a soda out of a refrigerator. And I already had permission for that, so that wasn't stealing. And then you took some lollipops, and lollipops were out too at another account. And so how much time was in between these? I don't know. I think, a week or so? Somebody asked me this in class. I had shared this story in class about ethics. And somebody else said, well, it's taking something that doesn't belong to you. That's a very legalistic kind of view, right? So, we got into talking about, other stuff too. Is lying okay? In the Bible, Rahab, is that how you say her name? She lied to protect a couple spies' lives, right? And she was commended for that. God actually commended her. We do have to be careful of situational ethics, but for the most part, yeah, we don't lie for the most part, guys. But I would lie to save somebody's life. And I think there are times to say, hey, this is not right, but in this situation, this is kind of what has to happen. People who are hungry, the Bible talks about, it's wrong to steal, but people who are hungry, it talks about in Proverbs, if somebody's hungry and they have to steal because they have no food, have the person repay you. So there's these things that are there. And I just really felt like ethics really, you have to be careful with it. What somebody's ethics are may not be yours, and I don't know where this fits into a business class, really, because, even if we define it as being professional, maybe we have a class on being professional, how would you define, some of the stuff? It's really difficult. There is a lot of gray here to me. And the thing is, some people are very black and white. They're like, right is right, wrong is wrong, period. I am not of that mindset. And for someone to burden you with their mindset and be like, this is right and this is wrong, when you see things different, there's a difficulty there. And I don't even think I've ever worked in a company that felt that, ethics has to be the main part of the business. Like, before this, I don't think I've worked in restaurants where, the owner was drunk and, there was a lot there. So this was a very difficult class. I'm probably going to talk about this some more because somebody had said to me, aren't you embarrassed that you mentioned that in class? And I said, why would I be embarrassed? I wasn't stealing. The point is, you got to hear the whole story. You got to know what happened. You got to, there's the accusations were the part that was wrong.